speaking of disruption, we've got Mr. Disruption right here.
Disruption?
Todd, oh gosh, yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the one thing I learned from all my time with XPRIZE and all the extraordinary technologies we saw and putting private spaceships into space and the whole 9 yards was the word disruption was not a dirty word. It was something to be prized, it was something to be lauded, and it was something to aspire to.
True.
So
that's a good point.
You're a disruptive kind of guy.
Well, you know, I think the way we look at it, you're right. So sometimes to improve things, right? Yeah, to improve things and help people, sometimes you have to be disruptive, right? Mm-hmm. Break the status quo. It can be a little risky at times, so I guess that's...
No risk, no reward.
That ties in there as well. But yeah, you know, we, like yourself, we love aviation. So things that we can do, we've been involved for so long, things that we can do to help aviators. As you mentioned too, this show is incredible, the AEA. And I wish that more people, and maybe we'll hear this, but if more people knew how much we've done in aviation and how much safety has been improved, I think they would be very impressed and comforted by that too. So.
Well, a common theme through our discussions in the last few days has been, and has actually through a number of conventions, is the fact that the avionics industry has out-innovated power plant technology, out-innovated airframe technology. It has been one of the driving forces in keeping aviation as close to the leading edge as it possibly can, pun intended.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and let's face it, let's talk about what's new. Well, I guess we'll start with True Blue Power because, well, there it is, just sitting there in front of God and everybody, just ready to power whatever you need.
Got our blue colors going, and established a great brand. Lots of people know Mid-Continent Instrument Company. Mm-hmm. We've been around for over 50 years, helping people fly safely. And True Blue Power is our division, and we focus on power products. But you raise a good point. So it's avionics and electronics. So all of a sudden we're in the battery business. So what's that all about? Well, like many technologies today, batteries are now enabled by electronics. So whereas in the past, and it's still a big part of it, chemistry, mechanical configuration, construction is super important. Electronics play a huge role in making things work better, last longer, be more safe. And that's why Mid-Continent and True Blue Power have been successful. So, gosh, we've been at the battery forefront as part of the avionics world now for 15 or plus years, and then we've taken that and scaled it into different areas. One of our new products, we're very proud of emergency lighting, battery packs. Of course, the airliners and the maintainers love it because the reduction in maintenance is probably 80 to 90%.
That's serious.
Over NICADs, exactly. And so they really just don't have to spend all that wasted time. And of course, emergency lighting is important. And it's the latest technology. It's the first product ever TSO'd under the new FAA requirement, which is very stringent for safety. Of course, we focus on performance and quality. And so a great achievement. And emergency lighting can be very important. And scaled up everything that we've learned over these past 10 years, working with Bell, working with Robinson, Textron, pretty much any OEM you can think of, and actual field experience, because we do now have lots of great new batteries. We're proud of it. It's lithium-ion technology, and we have a safe chemistry that we use. And now that it's out there in the real world, we're able to work with the OEMs, learn lessons, and improve it. So we said, okay, let's do the next generation, and that's our 5th generation batteries.
Outstanding.
Yeah, and a lot of it is the electronics.
No kidding.
We have a great chemistry. It's very reliable. It's less reactive, so it's safe. But the holy grail is, how do we really know what the state of charge? Like, you know, when you look at your phone, yeah, maybe you've got 80%, but how do you really know? Well, in an aviation, we like a little bit more definitive information. So state of charge and state of health has always been kind of the holy grail. So we started clean sheet design, and we redesigned the electronics, the battery management system in the battery to, again, preserve the integrity and the length and the service life of the battery. In some cases, we will probably eliminate maintenance altogether. So much more than 90% reduction in battery maintenance costs, because now the battery really does know its state of health and its state of charge. So the pilot or somebody who checks a maintenance log will actually be able to see the condition of the battery and predict or know when it needs to be changed. So they don't have to haul it off and put it in a battery shop and spend a lot of money doing maintenance. So we're looking after our certification, which will be a little bit later this year, our final certification, to be able to do on-condition maintenance, and all that comes from the electronics and everything that we have learned as really the only company that can supply a FAA-certified lithium-ion main ship battery in the market, and we've got that available for OEMs so they can start putting it on that next new aircraft, that next new helicopter.
And you guys have penetrated the market in a number of serious platforms fairly quickly. As a matter of fact, frankly, faster than anybody really expected. Because let's face it, while it's not the same technology, the word lithium did not start in the best position coming into aviation.
Yeah, and of course, even though everybody's using the technology in other industries, and actually quite a bit in aviation, right? Because the people say, well, we want to have one lithium battery in this application. Oh, by the way, there's 350 of them in the cabin on the airliner, right? And yes, there's some differences, but the reality is, of course, this one is FAA certified, so you know it's safe, and it's got to be reliable, right, or customers can't use it. So yeah, we actually have fleet operators, the U.S. government, our good friends at Bell, on the 505 Jet Ranger, which is, you know, is an awesome helicopter. Our friends at Robinson.
Next generation batteries for next generation helicopters.
That's true. And of course, you know, the question is, well, why really do they love them? Well, one of the big factors is they're 50% less weight. And when you can take anywhere from 40 to 120 pounds off that aircraft, that's a big thing. It reduces carbon emissions, for one, and you got less maintenance, and they last longer. That's the modern technology. And aviation, as we know, as you of all people know, right? We need these great technologies, these things that come in and make flying even more safer, even more efficient. And this is one of those top 5 technologies for the future, definitely in aviation.
And disruptive.
Somewhat disruptive. I kind of also consider it an enabler for the more electric aircraft.
Yep.
And that's another big step that all the OEMs are taking. And I'm not talking the hybrid electric, you know, flying car. Although, as you know, there's a lot of attention being paid to that, and a lot of work and money being spent on that. And yes, it has to have this kind of technology, not this specific, but this is part of it as well. So, and it's definitely a step in that direction. Yeah.
Tell me about the MD-93.
The MD-93. Well, that's something, that's kind of one that's right in your face, right? It's a clock. It's a clock, but more than a clock, our customers love it because it's also a USB charging point. So, you know, everybody's flying with their iPad or their tablet. They need someplace to charge it. And some of the low-cost chargers really don't work that well. So we custom design, again, our electronics, our circuitry. We put it in a very nice functional clock. Lots of people are flying with clocks that may not be working that well or that are hard to use. So we give them the typical features you need in a clock. It's FAA certified, TSO'd. And you know, the biggest part is the pilots who use the clock, they love it, right? They love it, and it gives them utility. And what we did, this version is actually, we kicked up the power to 3 amps.
Oh, okay.
So we call this one the MD-93H. So there are a bunch of these already in the field, in fleets. every type of aircraft you can think of, and now we have an even better version that's high power, MD-93H.
Price point?
They run around $500-600 depending on who's buying them and where you're putting them in. So they're available on the open market. These two products, as well as all the other hundreds of products from Mid-Continent and TrueBlue, are certified and available today. The 5th generation batteries, as I mentioned, we're finishing our certification, and we've done it many times before with batteries, and those will be a little bit later in the year.
How is the FAA treating you these days?
Pretty well. We've always had a great relationship, what I tend to call an open door policy.
Mm-hmm.
So we tend to have very healthy discussions. People that are doing things well, paying attention to detail, cognizant of safety, with good reputations, tend to have good relationships with the FAA. So we're actually able to get things certified. We have great discussions. They've learned a lot about newer technologies, software certification, because all these products have software.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one actually not as much, but software certification, that's a big step.
I can imagine.
So dealing with software certification, dealing with battery technologies, as well as, the SAM, flight instrument technologies, things like that. So we get along well with the FAA, actually.
Outstanding.
And I do appreciate the transitions that they're going through
Mm-hmm.
to move themselves forward and for more the risk-based management. So we're helping them navigate that, and we're interested and think that's a move for the better, for the positive. I think it'll be good for everyone.
So what's on the horizon then for Mid-Continent and TrueBlue? Anything we need to be looking forward to over the next few months?
Well, the 5th generation batteries will really have legs.
Mm-hmm.
So you will see our batteries coming out on more new aircraft. We continue to focus on special applications like this, where people have a problem out there and we can help provide a solution. And we continue to listen to our friends in the AEA and say, have you ever thought about doing this? Again, providing solutions like that, helping people keep older aircraft flying.
Mm-hmm.
Our overhaul exchange program is still one of the largest in the country, so people know about our new products. So we're trying to help people fly efficiently, keep those airplanes flying, whether it's an older model or a brand new aircraft. So you'll see us hitting all those spots in the future, I think.
Sounds like a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot of work, but we do love aviation, so.
And we love watching you disrupt
Stick with
it.
it. Okay.
There we go.
We'll
Todd,
keep it up.
We really appreciate your time joining
you.
us here at the 62nd Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show. You and I have been talking like this over the course of the last decade plus. It's been fun to watch both Mid-Continent grow, and then the advent of TrueBlue Power, and what has been a significant revolution in how aircraft systems are powered.
It's exciting.
And frankly, I've enjoyed the education because I, like everybody else, as lithium came on the scene, heard the highs and the lows, mostly the lows, and over a period of time watching people who actually knew what they were talking about, knew what they were doing, educate the rest of us, and put out products that not only performed but outperformed. Pretty cool stuff.
Yes, and we'll continue that. Our website has some good information so people can learn more. People tend to be very interested in that, like you said, so.
And they can find more information on Mid-Continent TrueBlue Power where?
Yeah, Mid-Continent Instruments, mcico.com, and TrueBluePowerUSA.com on the web.
Had
Social
to get that
media.
USA in there, didn't you? All right.
Well, we had to because somebody else beat us to the name. It's one of those web things, you know.
Oh, there you go.
But as you know, we're global. We're global, so
That's for sure.
we like every country.
Good deal. Thank
All
you
right.
again, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Aero-News Network's coverage of the 62nd Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show, live from Palm Springs, California, is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.